All right. So, welcome to the video presentation of the final project of my last undergraduate class here at UMKC, Human Computer Interfaces. So, to start off, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Jonathan Benson. I am a senior here at UMKC. I am majoring in uh, computer science with a minor in math. And so, this project that been working on for the last semester here is essentially uh, researching a particular disability and developing an application that accommodates that disability. And the disability that I have chosen is people that can't use their hands to use a computer. And so obviously this puts a lot of people under this umbrella. For example, deformities, um, physical trauma such as amputation, uh, or maybe even like less severe things like carpal tunnel or overuse injuries that make it so uncomfortable to, to type on a keyboard or move the mouse to where you would actually want to use, say, your voice. Um, so during the research for this project, I came across three people on YouTube that provided very insightful um, uh, testimonies into what their experiences are interacting with modern day technology without using their hands. And the first case was very surprising to me. Um, Her name is Isabel, and basically her limbs only extend to about here, and that is a very extreme case. Um, and the first thing I thought was like, she probably has someone, boot up a computer for her, pull up some voice assistant, and she just talks to her computer all day. But to my surprise, uh, what actually happens is she interacts with these devices, um, through the tactile input like keyboards and the touchscreen, using her arms. And like for example, like she said her go-to device was like the Apple MacBook Pro, and there's a scene where she pulls it out and it types on it, just using her arms. And what I took away from that is that people, given what they have, um, even if it's very little, will become very proficient at using what they have. But at the same time, that's not an excuse to say as software developers that we can't, or that we should not, that developing accommodations for an uncommon disability should be like last on the priority list. Um, and so that actually gets me into the second person that I researched that does take advantage of a lot of these technologies that have been developed, um, that by developers that don't put disabilities low on the priority list. Um, and this second person's name is Philip, and his case is a lot less severe than Isabel. He just uses these technologies because he has carpal tunnel, and he just doesn't want to use his hands at all because it's so uncomfortable. And the first technology that he uses is pretty obvious. speech recognition software. Obviously, when you click into a text box or something like that, you got to be able to type out or get get words onto the screen, right? And the most efficient way of doing that without hands is um, with the by the miracle of speech recognition. So that's the first technology he uses. The second one he uses is pretty pretty interesting. Essentially, he has software where the camera will pick up like a neon like sticker on his microphone, and it will track it to where it'll it'll point the cursor according to where the microphone is pointing. And I have never thought about that before, but I thought that was absolutely incredible, because he with the third technology, he was able to show like just how efficient he was at it. But the third technology he used was essentially foot pedals, and the foot pedals handled the mouse button clicks, right? So the left click and the right click, and he basically demonstrated to where, with all three technologies, he essentially, uh, opened up his email inbox, clicked where he needed to click on like the subject box, right, and type out a subject using his voice, and then attached an image and sent the email, like all under like 15 seconds, without using his hands at all, which is absolutely insane. Um, and then so the third person that I researched, his name is Gavin, and oh, by the way, I'll put all this stuff in the all these links in the description below so you can check them out. But Gavin, his story, his what he focused on more was the gaming side, and like Philip, he also used software that registered what was going on in order to keep track of the mouse. But instead of keeping track of like a sticker somewhere, it actually kept track of where his eyes were pointing on the screen. So wherever his eyes were pointing on the screen, that's where his cursor would be, which is pretty high tech. But along with that, the same software um, allowed him to map facial expressions or like head movements to like key presses. So like for example, like he would like grin like a little bit, like a little like smile, and that would register a left mouse click. So essentially he was moving around on the screen, with his eyes, and then every time he would smile, it would register a mouse click, which is crazy. Um, but the second technology that I found to be more intuitive, and actually inspired the project I'm working on right now is a program called VoiceBot. And essentially, what this does is it listens for commands, and upon saying a certain command, it will be mapped to a certain key press or a sequence of key presses. So, all that being said, um, the all these technologies that Isabel, Philip, and Gavin have laid out here, and basically are using to improve their lives, um, it really called me to uh, think a little bit deeper on like the importance of you know these accommodations in general. Like, what's really the point of it, right? What's the deeper, I guess, philosophical why behind it? And what I came up with is essentially, in the modern age here, the information age, um, technology and computers is essentially how we connect with society and other people in today's day and age. And when people are not accommodated um, with their disabilities in order to use this technology, um, what that equals is isolation. And obviously, isolation leads to depression and feelings of worthlessness, and it's not a good place to be. And so that's really the big reason why I believe that disabilities or accommodations for these disabilities should not be, number 10 on the priority list. It should be right up there, number one, with everything else. And so that gets into really the big reason I developed the application. I'm sure you can see here, Silence of God, which essentially is a application that allows someone to read the King James Bible using only their voice. And I believe this application is important because faith lays the foundation for many people's lives, and there shouldn't be any reason why a disability should, like not being able to use your hands to use a computer, that shouldn't be a reason why you can't dive deeper into your faith and connect with God. So, without further ado, I'm going to jump into this demonstration of this application. So, this right here I have pulled up is the text editor that I've used to build this application called VS Code. And to start off here, I've essentially just cloned that the source code repository off GitHub onto my computer. So that's what you can see right here, this project root. And before you boot up that application, you want to make sure that it's running properly. And so I have a little folder right here called sog.test, and you can test it by running this little command called .NET test. And for my software developers out here, the little .NET stands for the Microsoft .NET framework. And that's what this technology is built with. More specifically, it's built with it is a Microsoft .NET WPF application, and the WPF stands for Windows Presentation Foundation, and it's essentially just a desktop application. It's very similar to like WinForms, but it has this nice little XAML syntax, which is similar to HTML. It just makes the whole development experience a lot easier. So, moving along, I'll show you the main folder here. So SOG, this is where the main application lives, essentially. And to boot up the application, you just run a little command called .NET run. And so this is the loading screen here. Little fun fact about this logo, it's actually AI art generated with the program by OpenAI, DALL-E 3. Came in, it was very convenient for this application. But moving along, so this is the home page of the application right when you boot it up. And obviously for an application that accommodates people that only want to use their voice, it boots up in voice-only mode. But I'm going to deselect this because it provides a pretty good bird's eye view of the capabilities of this application. So essentially we can, go forwards and backwards, right, with these pages here. Next page, previous page. So it's essentially it's like it's like a book, right? You have pages and you flip through the pages. But what's nice about this application is that it allows you to search for specific like verses in the Bible, right? So let's say we want to go to Romans 12:12. Search up Romans here, then select the chapter. Oh, 12:2. Please excuse me. And we can click search right here, and it will pull it up right here, right to the verse. And then also, if you don't have all of these books and chapters memorized, like me, you can open up the table of contents window, and this will just show you, what's all in this King James Bible if you want to read all this. And then also what you can do is you can open up this little help window, and that'll give you like a quick summary of what you can do with this application. And this is really important for like the voice only mode, obviously, because as you can see, when we turn the voice only mode on, our controls go away. So that help window comes really in handy. So let's jump right in. So the way I've programmed this is essentially it will only start accepting commands when you tell it to. And that is with this little command right here. Now, I want to preface this demo with saying the application is like continually accepting input. So before you're ready to say something, if you've been talking for a while, you want to give it a little rest to reset, and then you can say command. So to demonstrate, start. And now we're in the command entry mode. So let's say we want to go to the next page right here. We do that with the command next. Next. And then we can also go to the previous page with the back command. Back. Now, obviously, saying next, 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 and then back, 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 back would be really repetitive and annoying. So I've also programmed it to essentially accept a number of pages that you want to advance by or go backwards. So next 5. And then you can do the same thing with the back command. Back 5. All right, so it's really really nice. And then also, when we booted up this application, I showed you the table of contents and then the help window. You can also open up those windows using only your voice. So contents. So as you can see, we got the table of contents window open up here. Let's say you want to close this window. All you would have to do is say exit. So exit. All right, so moving along to the help window. Help. And then just like the contents window, you can close this one too with your voice. Close, or exit. All right, so stop. So as you can see there, if you want to like start having a conversation with someone, or start talking to yourself or something, or maybe actually what would probably happen in this case is you'd want to stop and you would want to pray to God, right? So you would say the stop command, and that will take you out of command mode so you can speak freely without interrupting the application. But I do want to demonstrate, I guess, like, what would it look like for a person that's like doing a Bible study and they want to look up a specific book, chapter, or verse. So we'll just jump right into it. Start. Search Romans 8, verse 28. Search Romans 8, verse 28. Search Romans 8, verse 28. So as you can see, the program has a little bit of a hard time sometimes understanding you. All right. Please excuse those technical difficulties. I reset my microphone, so I think it's going to work a little bit better now. So again, we're simulating someone that wants to look up a specific chapter and verse. Maybe they're doing a Bible study and they want to pick up right where they left off, or maybe they just want to look up a really inspiring quote. So here we go. Search John 3, verse 16. There we have it. Stop. All right. So that concludes our little demonstration here. I hope you found this inspiring, helpful. Maybe even you want to use this application and use it for your own personal journey through Scripture. But whatever it is, if you provided me some feedback, I'd really appreciate it. But nevertheless, I appreciate your time. Thank you.